Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another bar by bar analysis video here on my channel. Today is March 17th, 2022. I hope everyone had a good and successful day of trading. I had work today, just as I did yesterday, so I wasn't able to trade today. I haven't taken a look at the charts, so I'm going to be walking through bar by bar live as if I'm seeing this for the first time. I'll go through my analysis like I normally do, and you can walk along with me through it and see if you see the same things I do. If you don't, go ahead and mention that in the comments. Let's have a little bit of a dialogue discussion. Let's all try and get better together here. So I do appreciate everyone watching these videos. I know that people do get something out of it when they watch, and others, they have things to say and they'll criticize, and it's all good. But it's a learning lesson, and just going through it and trying to learn this scalping strategy the best way I can. So anyway, as we normally do, we mark, ooh, whoops, let's get this range. We mark overnight highs and overnight lows. And I will change the color just so it's easier to see. All right, and right off the bat, I see this high with, looks to be a downtrend. Right there, prices holding off the top, holding off the bottom, break, and attempt to add a new low here. What I can do, we can almost do something like this. So EMA prices come down to the overnight lows, come back up. EMA starting to flatten out. So a little bit of a, we got prices move up, up, and then we have a short-term trend working down with a break and new low. So downtrend has played out. I'd be curious to take some longs if we do have one set up, but we got to let the morning play out and see how prices work. But that's just kind of how I see it so far. New low, first entry short, and market opens at 8:30. Second entry short, but we're too far from EMA, not looking to go short with overlapping bars, a little bit of congestion here. We could be finding a level of support down here at the bottom is what I see off the bat. I'd be curious to see prices push above EMA and hold so that we can go long, but it doesn't look like it's happening. As we get a little bit more data here, I start seeing, okay, well, what if we have maybe something like this? That's a little bit too wide, so I'm not going to pay attention to that. Um, Still not looking to take any trades as the price, as the day goes on. What I can do is maybe draw in the little range that I can potentially see here. It's a little bit of congestion, and here prices are pushing up like I thought they were going to after these downtrends played out. An attempt at a double bottom here. Some people could classify this is a new low. First entry short, and prices pull below EMA, extending the trading range a little bit. First entry short, second entry short at the top of this trading range. With prices here at the bottom, second entry short, even though prices played out, now that these prices are continuing to move, we're in a bit of a trading range. Prices are holding below EMA. Prices push above for a failed breakout, come back down, and then push back up. EMA is flattening out. I think with this range here, I'd take a risk on going short here. It never triggers, so we stay out of that trade. New low here. First entry, and technically this is a first entry short because it never triggered. Prices come back up for a second entry short. It's an aggressive failed breakout that some people could take, but as some of you may know, I'm just not a fan of these trades. People would be in this trade, it reverses, and people would have scalped out before this second entry long sets up with a new high. First entry long, second entry long, very big candle here, 20 ticks. The thing I don't like about it is the body of this candle is not close to the EMA. We just have a long wick rejection right off the EMA. I want to see prices play out a little bit before I go taking those trades. Some people would take this trade though, and your stop loss would be pretty big. You'd be risking a lot to try and go for those, either between 4 and 10 points that people usually like to go for. So I would stay out of that. As from what I see, we have Can't forget to draw in our short-term trends here. So we have move up with a break to a new high, but prices continue, looks like, to push higher. A very strong trend. And where's our price target? Most likely prices are going to try and find their way up to the top of these overnight highs. With prices holding below, we thought maybe we were going to reach these overnight lows, but we didn't. Prices are pushing back up now above this midsection. So my bias is long, not going to short just yet. New high first entry, second entry long if it triggers, it does, but we're too far away from EMA. Not interested in taking that. Got to let prices play out a little bit. What we do have is a short-term trend down. Okay, so we have this channel working up with a break attempt. We could look for an attempt at a new high. This is a pretty big bar. Again, 20 ticks. Some people would probably enter something like this as a higher low as prices are moving back up. Prices and EMA are holding above this 200 EMA. It's an aggressive trade that some people will take. I personally wouldn't take it, but I'm going to mark it as an aggressive trade for some people that possibly would take it. People would be in this trade, and let's see, before prices start to reverse, if I pull out the ruler here, people enter, and it would have been just shy of 2 points, 1.75. Again, not a trade that I would have taken. It's too big, you're risking too much. But people that are going for either 4 ticks, just 1 point, or 6 ticks, some people will take that trade. And it doesn't look like it stops people out. Prices continue to move up. And that being said, without even looking at this one, this higher low is a little bit better. Ticks, 17 ticks. It's still a big bar, don't get me wrong, but we're still looking for this new high. Some people could potentially take this one too. I could see how people would take a higher low with prices holding at EMA in an uptrend, looking for a new high off this short-term trend, working up. Um, but I think, like, if I was going to enter something like this, I'd want to pull the entry a few ticks back, just because I can also see some people maybe seeing potentially some sort of trading range form as prices kind of consolidate, wait for EMA to catch up. So again, two aggressive trades. I wouldn't take this first one. This second one, potentially, depending on how I'm feeling in that moment and how confident I am in the market. But that's just what I see. As prices continue to push up, right? As we have our new high, looking for prices to come back down to EMA, and they're not. They're reversing. They're coming back up. So we could have a bigger trend at play here. Starting from the low of where that move starts, we want to incorporate as much price action as we can. Not necessarily a fan of this. We need more price action. The other thing is maybe it starts here, right? We like prices holding. We could potentially see a measured move, right? With the price target at the overnight highs. That could be where prices go, but we have to let prices play out a little bit. Now we're seeing a little bit of reactivity here at the overnight highs, finding a level of resistance that we marked based on overnight highs in the pre-market. And prices are finding their way out of this channel that we have drawn. It looks like a little bit of consolidation and immediate rejection off the EMA. Now, for people that saw this, looking at this short-term trend with a break, looking for a new high, we're already at the highs. I wouldn't risk that. It's aggressive. I don't even really want to mark it because it's just too aggressive of a trade. It's not one that I like necessarily. The It's a doji bar, as bullish as it may look. Just not interested in something like that. So we get that break, new high, and now what happens? We're looking for a reversal, right? We're at these overnight highs. We're looking for prices to come back down to the overnight lows of the day. That's what we're looking for. So prices push below EMA, prices come back to the EMA to test. We have a new high, first entry long, second entry long. I'd be curious to trade a failure, and some people would probably put their stop order one tick below this bar. So if prices reverse, it should fall through. right? Um, Me personally, with the stage and experience of trading that I have, I'd want a more of a bearish bar, right? Perfect, exactly what I mentioned. So new high, first entry long, second entry long, it ticks up and reverses and closes below EMA. I like this trade. The only thing I see is you have the EMA flattening out a little bit. That being said, we just had um, two leg move up to overnight highs with a break and new high and prices push below EMA. I'm pretty confident we'd be going down low to the lows of the day. So this is a risk I would take. Enter that trade, and not really surprised. The um, next bar I would have been out of that trade. So I'm proud of myself for that one. Um, but it doesn't last long. It looks like prices push back up above EMA, and now we have enough data to say, okay, we have to be cautious, right, about taking shorts now, because prices could continue to push higher. It's just something that we have to consider. So this is exactly what I mean: is we have a new low, first entry short, second entry short. I'm hesitant at this point to go short here. Um, But with this range that I have drawn in, we have room to the low. EMA is pretty flat right now, so this could be an aggressive trade that I see people take because the EMA has a little bit less weight. When the EMA is flat like this, um, you're paying attention to this trading range, and we want to take trades off key entry points. Again, we're still looking for a move down to the lows. That could be an aggressive trade that some people take. And let's see if the next bar, if people enter right on it, that's 2.25 points. If people entered with one tick, they'd still get out with 2 points. So aggressive trade, but I could see how people could take that based on this little range that we have drawn in with prices holding below EMA, EMA holding at the top of this trading range. It's not like the EMA is in the center, right, of the trading range. This EMA is holding kind of at the top. So if prices are going to fail anyway, or anywhere, they're most likely to fail down to the bottom of this range. But people would have gotten out of that, and for some reason, if people entered a little bit late, right, you have your stop one tick above the signal bar, you would have eventually gotten out of that trade. Okay, so prices continue to push down. Um, we have a new high here with the first entry long and second entry long. I'm not interested in taking a failed breakout. Again, some people are going to want to take this trade based on a second entry long pulling back into this range, but I don't see it like that. I see prices coming back down from overnight highs. I'm not looking to go counter trend. The other thing that that some people probably spotted is something like this. Look at that. That short-term trend moving down with prices holding neatly, you'd be going long into this short-term trend. So I'd be cautious about that. For the people that do take the trade, it looks like you scalp out. And some people could trade this as a failure, right? If prices is a second entry long, prices at least initially look to be holding at EMA. Some people could potentially take an aggressive trade like this, but I don't like it because the body of the candle isn't closer to the EMA. I like the body closer to the EMA, not just the stem. And look exactly what happens if I can zoom in here, right? Prices would get people in, or some people would enter this trade, but I didn't trade this live, so I have no idea how the bar started. But prices work all the way up, right? People would have been alive in this trade because you would have put your stop one tick above this signal bar. But if you were to go short on this, you'd risk potentially more price movement up to this EMA before it goes exactly where you want it to go. And it does work, but again, for the reasons I stated, I want that body closer to the EMA, not just the stem. Prices continue to hold, it looks like, in this short-term trend, right? We don't necessarily have a clean break. So as we get more data, we want to just extend the range or extend this channel just a little bit to try and incorporate the candle that I see here. At least that's the way I see it. Now, this here is a clean break looking for that new low, and we get it, right? The next bar, not a surprise. So this downtrend is played out. Now, what two things are we thinking? Either prices will reverse, hold above EMA, and we continue to push higher, or prices will come up to the EMA, respect the EMA, and continue down. Those are the two things that I'm thinking. So I see both scenarios, um, and we just have to see which one works out. So the next thing we have to do is wait for prices to come back up to EMA. If that even happens, prices continue to push lower. Now prices are coming up to the EMA, so this is where we start to think. What I just mentioned? We have to start thinking how are prices going to react to EMA. That's going to determine how the market, how the trend moves. Prices come up to the EMA, couldn't even make it, so that's showing pretty bearish. It's showing a pretty bearish bias, and as we continue to attempt to make new lows, we could have a bigger trend, right? So this is where you start drawing in something like this, and now we have this little channel, and then we could potentially have, and let me just change the color here to like, I don't know, we'll just do green. I hope people can tell the difference. Maybe not. Let's do an Indian red. Kind of have this blue channel and then this reddish. And that might be hard to see for some people, but the point I'm trying to make is as we continue to make new lows, which we just did, we could have a bigger channel at play. And bias is still bearish, right? Look at how EMA is holding at the top of this channel that we have drawn. If we can get a second entry short off this channel, man, that is a great trade to take. So we have a new low here. There's a first entry long. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I'm saying. So new low, first entry short, prices come up and tick above, and you see all these stems, prices are trying to push above EMA, but EMA is being respected. Prices are holding below. Second entry short, if we get a trigger here, I mean, I feel super comfortable taking that. That being said, you also have a short-term trend with the break attempt to make a new high. Prices tick down. Uh-oh, and now we're getting a little bit of sideways movement, which I don't like, right? Now that we have a little bit more data, we can kind of see, okay, we have like 3 overlapping bars, 4, maybe 5 overlapping bars. But let's see, based on those two, how much room do you have if you enter on the tick? That's 2 points right there. That's 6 ticks. Um, so I think I might have gotten just lucky if I were to enter something like this. Let's see how prices continue to go. They would have came back up and stopped people out going for like 10 ticks, for instance. But I do like it. Um, yeah, second entry short off EMA, key entry point of this channel. At this point, we have overlapping bars and prices can reverse to the high side. So gotta let prices play out a little bit. New high, first entry long. Okay, so now we got two conflicting ideas here. We have we have a new low, first entry short, second entry short above EMA, or we have a new high, first entry long, second entry long above EMA. I'm not looking to take either, but I'm curious to see how prices are going to react. So the second entry long triggers, and people that would have entered that bar would have gotten that second entry long scalp. And then the second entry short would have triggered below this bar, would have stopped people out. So I shouldn't have fast forwarded one, but if I see this, right, second entry short triggers below this bar, it's a terrible signal bar. It could be treated as a failure. And when it's treated as a failure, what you can actually see, this is actually a great trade. This is a great trade. Price is pushing down. Don't make it to the overnight lows. That makes it to the midsection. 200 EMA is kind of holding that 21 EMA, and prices are coming back up above it. Not only is this a higher low, it's also a failed second entry short because we had a new low first entry, so a double bottom, first entry short, second entry short, failure off the bottom. You have room to the highs, right? You have the room to the top of this channel. So some people probably would have entered that. Um, and Man, would I have traded this? I honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, I think I would have traded something like that if I saw it in the moment with prices holding. And how high do prices go? If I take the ruler out on the tick, it moves 2.5, 2.5 points. That's 10 points for people. Um, but yes, okay, so we continue with prices, new high, first entry long, we extend. You see this bar is kind of holding this channel as well. Prices are respecting the EMA, prices trading above EMA. So it's a good sign that we're still in an uptrend. If this bar had been like more bullish, that probably would have been a good higher low as well, but it just finished too neutral. We don't like that. Not looking to trade shorts counter trend. And what do we have here? Very sharp move down. I wish I could somehow incorporate prices in a neat way. So we have this channel moving up with a break, potentially an attempt to make a new high here towards the top of these overnight highs. Prices push above EMA. That move is a little bit too sharp. I wish prices kind of came above, gave us a higher low. I probably would have taken that to go long, searching for this new long of this uptrend, but we didn't quite get it. New low, first entry short, second entry short failure. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I like this. I like this. New low, first entry short, second entry short failure. Did we get the new high? We definitely had an attempt at a new high, but with prices holding at this midsection and prices holding above EMA, right? We tried pushing below, but prices immediately came back up to um, test this EMA. First entry long, second entry long, even though it's a bearish bar, it finished somewhat bullish, right? Prices tried pushing below EMA, but then finished higher. That's a trade I like. That's a trade I like. Okay, nice. I don't know I don't even know if people would have been able to get into this trade, unless people maybe entered on a stop order, stop market order. I usually like stop limit orders, but if you entered on a stop market order, you would have gotten filled, and prices would have continued to push up to scalp you out. At this point, at least this uptrend has played out. So we'd be looking for prices to pull back below EMA. We want to see how prices react at EMA at that point. Um, but prices are respecting the EMA, continually pushing higher. As we push higher, we say, okay, well, we could be dealing with a bigger trend, right? We could be dealing with a bigger trend. Let's see if I can make this just a color. And this one just to kind of distinguish the two. Prices push above, not looking to short, not looking to short. We're not trying to pick tops. We have an overshoot of this bigger trend, and that usually it generates momentum to the opposite end, but prices are pushing pretty strongly, holding above EMA, finding a level of resistance above these overnight highs is what I see. Not looking to go long, but I'm also not looking to go short. And by this time, it's 11:48. I don't want to make the video too long. I think we're doing good with these trading for the first 3 hours of the day sort of thing. So I won't continue analysis at this point, but based on these are just some of the trades that I saw, right? We had a few of these aggressive trades. Wouldn't have taken this one, but a higher low here, I would have felt comfortable with that. This one, with a little bit of analysis, if you had this range drawn in, you had room to the lows. That's a second entry short that people would take. Same thing with here, failed breakout. We continue down, little break. Prices holding below EMA. It's a trade I would have taken with that break attempt at a new high. And then this one I liked, and this one I think this was a very clean trade. It can be hard to go long above a bearish bar like this, but just based on the context and um, really looking for a nice move of this channel moving up, I feel comfortable. You also have room to the highs, prices holding above EMA. So that's what I see. Anyway, we'll continue on here. I'll kind of zoom out. Prices seem to hold above for a bit of time, right? Waiting for EMA to catch up. Because what happens as prices push up, EMA has to catch up. So these prices are going to say, hey, okay, we'll wait for you. We'll wait. And so prices kind of wait, find that level of resistance. EMA catches up and they say, okay, time to bounce. And then prices push up. Um, I'm not going to go over trades I would take here, but that's essentially what I see. Prices immediately shoot up. Um, right, these are kind of the trends that I see just based off my eye with a break, attempt at a new high. Um, and then prices come back down, right? Now they're holding below EMA. They hold below EMA for a little bit. Prices kind of range up back and forth before coming back down. And I guess that's how the day finishes. So finish somewhat in a bigger range that maybe some people had drawn in, something like that, to incorporate these touches on the bottom. So that's what I saw for the day. I appreciate people watching the video as always. I literally love doing this. I am going to be trading tomorrow, so I don't have to work tomorrow. I'm glad about that. I'm happy for that. And, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, leave a like, share this video with someone that you think would find it beneficial. I'm getting a lot of good feedback. There's people that are going to criticize, but for the most part, I'm doing it for the people that think the same, right, about this strategy, that enjoy scalping the market like this. And this is the strategy I like. And are all trades going to win? No. I mean, I'm sure if I took one of these aggressive trades and they reversed on me, I would have lost that trade. But when I do these bar by bars, I feel myself getting better as a trader, and I hope that you guys do the same thing. It's the closest thing that we can get as traders to trading live, right? Just short of trading live. It's like while I wasn't able to trade live today, if I go bar by bar and see exactly how I think about the process, I'm going to be better when it's live and when the bars are actually printing. So I just prefer that base rather than opening up the chart and then seeing, okay, we had an uptrend here. I'm going to draw in this uptrend and then do post analysis of, oh, that looks like a good entry. I find it better to do bar by bar analysis. So I appreciate those that watch the video. I hope that you find as much benefit in it. And I will see you tomorrow for Friday's trading day. I hope everyone has a good rest of your evening, and thanks again for watching.